So the school year might look a lot different than what we're used to, but that doesn't mean learning is less important. We definitely want to continue to support our kids, and there's actually ways we can do that. My name's Gloria, and I'm a therapist with Samaritan Counseling Center of the Fox Valley. Well, today I want to touch briefly on the importance of setting up our brains for success for learning at home. If you're anything like my family, you're doing a lot of learning at home, and it's new, it's a little different. There's great news, and it's something called neuroplasticity. And what neuroplasticity means, it's just a big word for saying our brains love to learn, and they love to grow, and they adapt really well, and we can help them do that. So what I want to offer you today are 4 tips to help set the brain up for success learning in these new circumstances. These are things we can do as parents or caregivers to help our kids be more open to learning, be ready to focus, and grow. The first thing I'll note is the importance of creating a routine. Now the routine can really be flexible. It can be unique for your own situation, but routine is important, whatever it looks like. Routines help provide consistency and safety and security and a sense of normalcy. To be open to learning and growth, our brains need a sense of stability and security, and routines can help provide that. And again, it can look different. It's just about finding something consistent that you and your family can count on just about every day. Tucked in under routines is setting a consistent bedtime and wake time. And again, that may look different depending on the different ages of your kids, but a consistent bedtime and wake time helps provide support for a good sleep schedule. And if our brains are going to be open to learning, they really need to be well rested. In fact, it's probably a good idea to apply a consistent bedtime and wake time to yourself as much as possible. And not straying too far from it during the weekends. A little bit, but again, our brain really loves consistency, especially when it comes to sleep patterns. So as much as possible, finding a consistent, regular time for kids to be asleep, a regular wake-up time, it helps provide that routine that the brain responds so well to. When it comes to bedtimes and screen usage, again, I think maybe all of us can relate to how sometimes bedtime and screen usage kind of overlap. Maybe we're using our phones in bed, maybe kids are falling asleep using different tech devices. That happens. It might be helpful to check the settings of any devices that are being used, especially if it's close to bedtime, to see if the settings for blue light filters are on or off. So this next tip is on the learning space. Again, our brains really love to learn and adapt, and they're really good at knowing what to do based on where we are. Having a specific learning environment sends the message to our brain that, hey, I'm here right now and it's time to learn. Just like when we're in bed, our brain knows, hey, it's time to sleep. I'm snuggled up on my pillow. It's time to fall asleep. It knows that when we're in our learning space, sitting upright, it's bright, we have our supplies, it's time to be open and engaged. Now it takes time for the brain to get the message and to develop this, but the good news is that it will adjust. And these learning spaces can look different. In my house, we're at the kitchen table. Other houses may have an office, or they've got a desk in the bedroom, or it's an area of the living room, or they're at a daycare center or the YMCA and it's a special area. But having a specific place where the learning activities happen is really critical. My 4th tip is to get up and move a lot. Movement and exercise is like taking a vitamin for the brain. Movement puts our brain in a state where it's more capable of focusing and learning, listening and remembering. It reduces our stress and anxiety, and it can actually put us in a state where we're open to tackling new challenges, to learning new material, less likely to get frustrated and give up. Exercise can help increase our frustration tolerance, if you will. So one tip is, if you know your child struggles specifically with a certain subject or a certain task, or tends to get frustrated with a certain activity that they need to do, try doing 10 to 20 minutes of movement or even exercise before that. Studies have shown that students who engaged in exercise or had a gym class scheduled before their toughest subject actually improved their grades and test scores in that subject when they exercised beforehand. There are so many different ways to move. There's tons of resources on YouTube. I'm sure schools are providing different movement and gym class resources as well. It could be as simple as a dance party in the kitchen. It could be going outside, playing basketball. In the winter, building snowmen, snow forts, having snow fights, anything that gets the blood pumping for a little bit. So that's it for now. 4 ways we can help our kids get their brains in a ready-to-learn state. A consistent routine, regular bedtimes and wake times, a set learning space, and a regular movement. And remember, it's going to look different for every family and for even maybe every child, and that's okay. It's about finding what works for you and your kids and doing the best you can with what you've got.